whispers of your heart. You are beings of energy. How do you want your world to be? Right. Now that you know who you are and what's important, you can specify your sense of purpose outside. Literally, if you want to turn your business around, go through this process, right? Right? Wha-Dho is a body of knowledge. It has 9 pillars.
What's the origin of the word Wha-Dho?
In Japanese, it means the way of harmony. I've been doing this for 25 years. Right? I first got on my spiritual path dealing with my pain. And the first rule when you become a Wha-Dho student, the first rule is, fuck nice. Guess what? If everybody's giving, everybody's receiving. Under Wha-Dho is first Bushido. Then you will hear Christian mysticism, Buddhism. A lot of Native American, these are important elements in life. You are part of the universe. Physically, energetically. How are you walking? Do you walk with that awareness? In Wha-Dho we do. You not being able to say no to people and be happy about this because there's not enough love for yourself. And inside here is what? Big old heart. Only on the first, so this was number 1. Second, happy employees create a situation where you have happy customers. And happy customers come back over and over and you have happy investors. So if you guys do not like cold calling, it'll start loving it, it'll change your life. Don't let anything stop you. Nothing stops me. Except the flow of nature. And I'm very sensitive to that. So sometimes timing, I just know stuff. She was, in the early days, we've been married 6-7 years, we used to argue about that. And she's like, you got diabetes, you're eating pie and sweets and stuff. I'm like, yeah. And I said, one day I won't have diabetes. She's like, what do you mean one day you won't have diabetes? Yeah, the time will come. Now I'm off insulin, and losing weight, I play polo, and you know, life's good. It's okay. Things take their time. Nature has its course. When you know that, you'll start getting in sync with, now's the time to do this. And now there's a sense of knowing. If you have to think about something, it's too slow. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, and thank you, and everybody else that was involved. Look inside. And one disclaimer, if you're going down the path of meditation, find a good crazy guru like myself, who's not flying a flag. Unless you learn to listen to your inner self, your own spirit, your wisdom, you will never be able to live your truth. You'll always be able to do cool stuff. It says don't do this, it says don't do that. If I'm a doctor, like I grew up in India, never was taught how to answer the question, Paul, what do you want to do? I literally went into fear. I had like this, I tripped out when my professor said, Paul, for your dissertation, what do you want to do? What? Nobody had ever asked me that question or given me the permission to answer it. Because you know, I did what the church wanted me to do. I did what my mother wanted me to do. I was always doing something that somebody else wanted me to do. It was the right thing to do. But if you don't live your truth, you're living a lie. You may be socially not a liar, but spiritually you're a liar. Anchor in what is working. Learn to be able to connect with the wisdom in your heart. If you try to make a decision from the politically correctness of your brain, you'll have that problem. Because you have no personal conviction about what you're feeling. Once you have true personal connection with spirit, you'll have no fear for anybody else on the planet because nobody else really adds up to much. The deeper you connect with spirit, you will understand that we're all connected to spirit and everybody's fine just the way they are. There's nothing right or wrong with them. There's only whether you need to connect with them or not. Like, there are a lot of people I can't connect with. There's nothing wrong with them. I don't pass any judgment to them, but I just know that my little happy place is there. And I have zero judgment. I mean, like, I don't like Indian people. I don't think you come again because I'm from that country, you know. But there's a reason I love my country. You put the bug in my head when I was not planning that. Right? When I was being born, there was an error with the shipping angels in heaven. I was being born, and the shipping angel said, God, where's this one go? And he said, oh, he's Indian. Boom, Bombay, and as I was coming down, he said, no, now. And it took me 21 years to come back. Right? But the only way for you to have your conviction of who you are, like in India, I used to feel like, oh shit, man, I was a perfect Catholic, ridden with guilt. But I was just not myself, because myself is this. I can tell you, I'm absolutely living my truth. I don't care if any of you like me or don't like me. I give a rat's ass. Go find 1,000 people to give you $1,000 a year for something that you're really good at doing. It's really not a big number, but it takes focus, super focus. It takes teams. This is my peeps now. Wha-Dho is a body of knowledge. It has 9 pillars. We do listening because listening is the only way to find your wisdom and truth. 2, awareness. I help you be aware of what brings you happiness, joy, pain, and suffering. Transition and healing. You have to heal the past. You have to transition the pain. If you walk around with pain, be aware of the pain you're carrying. You be aware of the pain you're carrying. You have a pain of not being accepted somewhere down in your path. I had it. I had to transition it. Now that you know who you are and what's important, you can specify your sense of purpose outside. Literally, if you want to turn your business around, go through this process, right? This, who you are and what is the dream you have for your life. You are the architect of your life. How do you do it with your truth, right? So what is that? And you can have different horizons of time on this. You know, you can do 1 year, 5 years, 20 years, whatever, right? And 6 is prosperity. Every dream has a price tag. If you want to say, I want to live with horses, and I want to have a hot tub, and I want 0.5 acres of land in New York City, you can. A lot of money compared to doing that in Goshen, Ohio. 7, process. What are you doing to make the money you need to fulfill your dream? It's all connected. 8, people. You cannot do anything without people, but you have to be able to call it. Most of you are too busy being nice. Right? And the last one is, since you're going to enroll people in your life, please pay it forward. Right? It's practical leadership. Servant leadership. When you either, you step forward or whatever, and you ask people to join your cause, whatever that cause is, help them live their purpose. This is the closed loop. This is when it becomes a happy circle. So for me, it starts with over here, purpose, then money, the prosperity, then process, then people, practical leadership, right? When you're looking at your world, look at it all in a linear fashion first, then you hold them all simultaneously. This, my friends, the practical leadership, this is the force multiplier. What did I do yesterday? I put you in touch with people. That's practical leadership, so that you can be more successful in your business. Oh, by the way, you're more successful in business? Why would you forget me?
What's the origin of the word Wha-Dho? What does it mean?
In Japanese, it means the way of harmony. Right? I first got on my spiritual path dealing with my pain. I was a kickboxing, salsa dancer, confused Catholic. That suddenly got free from being close to my mother and at home. So I was like, I can do anything. And my life just went crashing down. And so I started healing my own pain and suffering. And I found a shaman in Kentucky, Richard Shining Thunder. He was a blind man, and taught me meditation and vision quests and stuff like that. And I was kickboxing all along, and then I found Qigong. And I started doing Qigong from the Shaolin Temple, and I found silence through the breathing and the meditation and stuff like that. And I chased the silence with the shamanistic work, and that began my journey. The silence started talking back to me. So I started healing myself and then healing other people as a pranic healer. I was traveling all over the country. I lived like a mystic for 2 years on the beaches of Santa Cruz. Didn't own anything. Didn't charge for any of my healing work. Somebody paid for my car. Somebody gave me a credit card. I never paid the bill. Somebody gave me a cell phone. I had keys to 5 homes. In that time, I made it in the Entrepreneur magazine. Like I helped this guy turn around his business just by, had emotional issues and stuff, so he told me to come for his meetings, and in those days, as a heel, I wasn't that developed, so I had to literally put my hand out and heal the lower chakra and stuff like that, this Muladhara chakra, bottom of his spine. And his business flipped around, and I gave him some guidance and stuff like that, but mentally he became stable, because that's what's important to me. How do you be harmonious with the world around you? Right? And then I was in and out of Japan. I've been going to Japan for 15 years studying weaponry and stuff like that. And what Japanese friends said, I said, how do you say conversations of like the way and harmony? Way of harmony in Japanese, and that's Wha-Dho. Now, Wha-Dho is really comprised, it's a great question. Wha-Dho, if you really want to know what's under the hood, the first level is Bushido, which is the art of the philosophy of the samurai. Intelligence, benevolence, and service. Intelligence, because you really have to, or wisdom, you have to know, you have to raise your level of consciousness, develop skills, because we have to always compete in the market today. Constantly be developing skills. The samurai would, even though they didn't fight for 1,000 years, they were in a peaceful time, they'd always work on their archery and their martial arts and weaponry, because they just had to stay in shape. And each one of us, in our businesses, we have to master the domains. You have to be an expert. I wrote a book earlier, The Market Has Changed Our View. One of the topics is that, be an expert. You go to Starbucks and you don't know how to make your coffee, you think people will enjoy one of the 25,000 or 65,000 drinks you know how to make. You gotta be good at what you do. And there's no excuse, the market is way too competitive for that. If you're not good at what you do, go get a government job or something. I'm constantly building my tribe. Who is your tribe? And once you have your tribe, then be benevolent, be kind, be caring. Right? And then third is when you bring those two together, you create the space of possibility to serve. Be a giver, not a taker. Then you will hear Christian mysticism. Then you will hear Buddhism. And then you will hear a lot of Native American, and I'll tell you why. The Christian stuff teaches you about love. This is compassion, right? Buddhism teaches a lot about compassion, among other things. And the Native American stuff teaches you how to connect with nature. With nature. These are important elements in life. You are part of the universe. Physically, energetically. How are you walking? Do you walk with that awareness? You not being able to say no to people and be happy about this because there's not enough love. And believe it or not, there's not enough love for yourself. Tolerating an employee that sucks? Are you kidding me? Can his or her ass quickly. Fire people quickly. Take time to hire. Have people stretch and be very careful who, because that's out of respect for the rest of the team. It's just out of respect. It's about creating a happy space. Chip Conley wrote the book Peak. And he used Maslow's hierarchy of need as the matrix of his business, right? I can even draw it, he'll be so proud of me. Right? First, so this was number one. Second, happy employees create a situation where you have happy customers. And happy customers come back over and over and over, and you have happy investors. But it starts over here, and this is 3. He created a $500 million company doing that, and allowing more than 2,000 people who clean toilets for a living to be super self-actualized. First, so this was number one. Second, happy employees create a situation where you have happy customers. And happy customers come back over and over and over, and you have happy investors. But it starts over here, and this is 3. He created a $500 million company doing that, and allowing more than 2,000 people who clean toilets for a living to be super self-actualized. Right? Don't let anything stop you. Nothing stops me, except the flow of nature. And I'm very sensitive to that. So sometimes timing, I just know stuff. In the early days, we've been married 6-7 years, we used to argue about that. And she's like, you got diabetes, you're eating pie and sweets and stuff. I'm like, yeah. And I said, one day I won't have diabetes. She's like, what do you mean one day you won't have diabetes? Yeah, the time will come. Now I'm off insulin and losing weight and play polo and life's good. Medicines are coming down. It's okay. Things take their time. Nature has its course. I was clear with what was possible when I met Tony. Most of the time, but now's the time. 3 years later. But you'll get these insights. If you're clear with yourself, you'll act on them. And you'll know that you'll have patience. You just know the right time. That level of awareness with nature, when to speak, when not to speak. However loud and crazy I am, very quiet. Because inside is quiet. And when you know that, you'll start getting in sync with, now's the time to do this. Now there's a sense of knowing. If you have to think about something, it's too slow. I don't know any of you have done martial arts or you've heard of martial arts speak. If you have to think about what am I going to hit you with, too slow.